This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Dave, I feel like I need to apologize to the entire city of Chicago and all of the surrounding areas. On Saturday, it was 80 degrees outside. Beautiful. I was out on the deck enjoying the sun. On my deck,
Did you have a cigar?
I might have had a cigar, yeah. On my deck were 4 or 5 snow shovels. And I'm like, well, this is ridiculous.
Don't need this.
I'm going to put these away.
I'm gonna do something productive, and I'm gonna put these away so we never have to use these again. Yeah.
Right. So I put them away.
Yeah.
And this morning,
Yeah.
snow.
Yep. So you are controlling the weather then, huh?
It's like I went up to the weather gods and poked them in the chest.
Right. What are you gonna do to me now?
Yeah. I dare you. I dare you.
Well, this is gonna be good for pothole season.
Oh, yeah.
Because as you know, a pothole is basically acne.
Yeah.
So when the water gets cold and then gets warm and then gets cold again, we'll have.
So we're going to start selling some stuff on the pothole store?
Maybe.
Is it still up there?
It is. Potholestore.com.
When was the last time you sold any
A long
pothole?
time ago.
Okay.
Long time ago.
All right. Well, we're going to have to start pushing it again.
Yeah, we got to find our audience.
All right. In the meantime, it's time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Actually, as I was driving here to the studio, I saw a guy in his convertible with the top down.
For real?
Yeah. So this is the dude who's like, screw it. It's the spring. I'm not going to.
The other thing is, I was fighting the nice weather by not taking out any shorts. I wore long pants the whole time until Saturday. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm sweating my ass off. But I was determined not to poke the weather gods.
Because of the shovel or because of the pants.
Yeah.
But you went ahead and poked him with the shovel.
Well, I did both. I put on shorts and I did the shovel.
Yeah,
so I was like, it's totally my fault.
We went to the Sox game on Saturday.
Really?
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, granted, their bullpen is absolutely.
At Kaminsky?
It was, hey, we've got a hell of a show today. We got to get cooking here. I think this first story will resonate and perhaps maybe even outrage a pretty large segment of our audience. Court denies benefits to officer for injuries sustained while on desk duty.
Desk duty.
A Suffolk, a Suffolk, New York County police officer applied for accidental disability retirement benefits for injuries he sustained while he was assigned to a desk. While on duty, the officer Robert W. Bodenmiller, 59. Tell me about 59, Rick. That number ring a bell with you? So he said he rolled back in his chair. He had one of those rollers, which then became stuck in like a rut in the floor.
Yeah. Stopping
his chair, prompting him to grab the desk because he was worried about falling over. He did not fall over, thankfully, because he would have been able to. I mean, he may have broken a hip or something. And then he went back to work. Everything was fine. Okay. So probably what happened was someone yelled donuts in the break room. He's like, donuts. And then but everything was fine. The next morning he woke up with excruciating pain up and down his right side of his body. He said from his ears all the way to his elbows. Okay. And he's saying that was from him stopping the fall.
Right.
Basically. Well,
it's possible, I guess, right?
Well, sadly, the aegis holding the county purse strings said he was full of shit. And they said no, and they rejected his retirement disability request. Now, I'm not going to judge, obviously. A couple weeks ago, I changed lanes.
Yeah.
Pulled a muscle. Have you ever pulled a muscle?
I pulled a muscle looking back as I'm pulling out of a spot. You know what I mean? Just putting my arm on the next seat over, looking back, and
and let me ask you a question. What happens when you do that the next day? What are you doing?
I'm in pain.
Yeah, and you take a couple Tylenol, and you just don't use your neck for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You don't use your shoulder, whatever. This dude...
Well, I also sue Toyota.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the Ray Bronsky case paper severed finger story?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. For those of you that's on episode something, go ahead and listen.
It's out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. All right. Well, listen, I have a story that takes place in Oregon. It also involves police officers. right? I think we're going to have a whole police thing today. Vehicles stopped on a busy Oregon highway so their drivers could get out and collect an estimated $200,000 in cash, all $100 bills thrown out of another driver's window. The Oregon State Police said Colin Davis McCarthy, 38 years old, threw the cash out of his window on Interstate 5 near mile marker 192 in Eugene. McCarthy was not charged with a crime because he told officers he was doing well and he just wanted to bless others with the gift of money. There are two red flags in this story, and they're not really noted by the UPI. I'm going to tell you the first one right here. Okay, you ready there for this? The money is believed to have come from McCarthy's family shared bank account.
Okay.
All right. Is there a follow-up phone call to the family? Listen, your husband, son, brother, whatever, threw $200,000 of cash out the window. How do you feel about that?
Right.
I'd like to know.
Yeah.
But here's my favorite part of the story. The Oregon State Police said, we are urging the public not to go searching for the money on the highway.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, contributes to a hazardous condition. There's nothing to be found. Officers searched the highway for leftover cash, didn't find any.
Yeah. Do you remember the scene in was it Goodfellas? After they had the big bank heist?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, don't do a lot of spending. We don't want to bring attention. Then they come in with their furs and their Cadillacs or whatever. You know what I think happened here?
What?
Is he said, he withdrew $200,000 or whatever from his bank account. He put $180,000 aside somewhere and just threw $20,000 out the window. How would anybody know?
Oh,
that
you
he
are a genius.
Threw all the $200,000 out.
You are an evil genius. Yeah. Well, my thinking is that there are cops that have bulging pockets full of cash.
Fur coats. It's the Goodfellas guys right now.
I think at Dunkin' Donuts every day they better bring change for $100 bills.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
Double sprinkles? You betcha.
2 dozen?
Yeah. Woo.
All right.
Hey, we got a review, and this is from Pork Rind Tony.
Pork Rind Tony.
Okay. From the onset of this podcast, everything seems professional.
Yeah.
The quality of the podcast sounds fantastic, and the intro alone is incredibly well done. Well, thank you to
Vince Argento
and everybody else involved. Really makes the listener want to continue listening. The conversation is witty and entertaining. This reminds me of good radio shows, and that's awesome. And that is from Pork Rind Tony via Apple Podcasts. And certainly, please find wherever you're listening to our show and review it there.
Yeah. If you like it, you can check out some of the other programs on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Pick out your favorite new show at opishows.com. And remember, Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. All right, time for another feature.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls.
So this is the part of the show where we reach into the Rick and Dave archives and we feature some things that we've previously aired that tie into something happening in the news or something happening on the calendar. And on this week in 2019, the film Avengers Endgame premiered, which is the second highest grossing movie of all time, nearly $3 billion. And we had somebody who was in that movie.
So that's just 2 times the Dominion suit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. We had somebody who was in that movie on our show. Yes. He is the stuntman for Chris Hemsworth, who plays the mighty Thor. And that his name is Bobby Holland Hatton. Right. And Bobby was a very friendly man and was on our show. And we asked him about what he considers his signature stunt moves. And here's what he told us.
As you said, high falls, fire burns, everything. So for me, I'm probably known for the whole physical side of things, like parkour, free running, jumping around. And I'd say probably specialize in a lot of wire work. So over the last 13 years, I've done so much wire work, if that's ratchets, if that's flying from buildings, falling through glass, whatever that may be. So, and that's, wire work's quite unique in a way for a stunt performer, because you only really do wires if you are a stunt performer. And you can't really learn it, you can go to training camps and do it, but to try and do it safely and rigged by professionals. It's something that you kind of only do in stunts in film and TV. So, as I said, from 13 years ago, I've been putting a wire and thrown across the room hundreds of times. So you start to get used to how those wires work and how your body reacts to getting pulled off your feet at 1,000 knots a second. So it's I would say probably wire work would be my general all-round physical stunts is what I'm kind of known for, I guess.
What would you say? That sounds pretty dangerous. But yeah. What is the most dangerous thing that anyone has ever asked you to do? Have you ever been to a meeting where they say, all right, we're going to do this, and you said, no, I'm not doing that?
Listen, I mean, it doesn't really work like that. I mean, obviously, safety is paramount. It's the first thing that we make sure is put in place, and that comes with rehearsals. That comes with an experienced stunt coordinator and stunt team, and so everything gets rehearsed and is in increments, in very small increments, and we build up until it's safe to do it. So generally, it doesn't matter what it is, the whole team collectively can pull it off some way, shape or form. So it would be rehearsal period, and the rehearsal periods are the most important. Sometimes we start a film maybe 8, 9 weeks, 12 weeks before the film starts principal photography. So that gives us time to break down the script, break down the action sequences, and rehearse the stunt. So as of yet to date, no, I haven't turned down a stunt. But again, it's something that we can, as a team, you work together to get the job done, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
How big is the team? When you say the team, like what kind of people are you talking about?
It really depends how stunt heavy the show is. So if it's a superhero movie and it's Thor or Avengers or something along those lines, or even Extraction, for example, then the team's pretty big because you need a rigging team which they do all the safety wires and cables, etc. Then you've got a fight rehearsal team, and then you've got utility stunts, a general team that help out across the board, and then you've kind of got two teams in two different units. So you've got main unit and second unit. So it just really depends on what the movie is to actually how action heavy it is to actually be able to put that team together. But I mean, listen, it can be, our Avengers team was 30, 40 strong, and that was core every day.
Wow. You've done some dangerous stunts, but have you ever been driven in a minivan on an 18-hour road trip with 3 kids that were not potty trained? Because
I haven't yet, mate. I haven't yet. But we've got a little 8-year-old, and she's a handful enough, to be honest. We don't need any more right now.
Okay. Well, you haven't done some stunts that I've done.
So she's 8. Is that what you said?
She just turned 8. Yes.
So she's probably the exact height. Because when I had 3 daughters, like Rick said, they were all they were 8 and 5 and 5. I had twins, and they would run into me continuously, and their heads were pretty much exactly where a very sensitive part of my body was, and I would crumble. Have they ever?
Where was that, mate?
Yeah, right. So, as a stunt person, have you ever had a crumble in pain after your daughter whacking you in a bad spot?
Luckily, no. She's listen. She's a little angel, really. She's pretty controlled when it can, and I think she knows when she shouldn't and should be doing things. So actually, not to date, and hopefully it stays that way.
Okay. Well, come on to Chicago, buddy. I've got 3 kids here. The Avengers stuff will mean nothing to you after a week.
He's a young man, Dave. He hasn't gone through the stunts that we have gone through yet.
Yeah.
That's Bobby Holland Hanton.
It just really saddens me that your elephantitis and gout has kept you from being a world-class stunt.
Stunter. Otherwise, there really is nothing that holds me back.
When I think of world-class stuntmen, I'm thinking you.
That's true. All right, time for
wire work.
Say, you heard about this new electronic mail?
That new method of exchanging messages between people using electronic devices?
Yeah. What's it called?
Email for Rick and Dave.
Wow. Haven't heard that one yet. A brand new one. All right, so we got an email this week that we wanted to share with you. This comes to us from a former guest that we've had on the show. Last week we shared the Anthony Scaramucci email. This week, remember when we had, Dave, we had this guy, Guido Finelli?
Yeah.
Tell us who
So
that
Guido
is.
Finelli, he runs the website rentahitman.com.
Right.
Just a parody site. But,
Right.
well,
We thought it was funny.
we thought it was funny. But then when we started talking to him,
Yeah.
he told us that, well, he actually has helped law enforcement catch many criminals.
Right, because people think it's real, and they send him emails trying to hire a hitman
to kill somebody. Right.
Yeah, and so he turns them over to the cops.
Right.
Well, he sent us another email this week. It says, Dave and Rick, hope all is well in your world. Aside from my stupidity, check out the stupidity of this guy, Josiah Garcia, a Tennessee Air National Guardsman who was more than willing to wander down the dark road of being a hitman to support his family. He had every opportunity extended to him to back out, but he didn't back down. And it was in the Washington Post. The Department of Justice has all the details. His website is mentioned in the article. So congratulations to Guido. Because he
caught another one.
Got another one.
Well, should we really? Josiah is trying to provide for his family.
Yeah,
he's looking for work. He keeps hearing about how there's unemployment is low. He's looking for a job. I don't know.
I know. I look at it this way: Guido's a hero, and we're heroes for having him on to help out spread the word.
Hey, so I've got another story here.
Okay.
And this one is a story definitely that I can relate to.
All right.
Mother says she called the police because she couldn't tell her twin sons apart. A mother said she needed some help telling her identical twins apart, so she called the police.
Yeah, of course.
Here's her tweet. This is from Sofia Rodriguez, and this is in Spanish, but
translated.
Yeah, the Washington Post actually translated for me. Tomorrow I have to go to the police so they can fingerprint my twins and tell me which one is which. I just won Mother of the Year. The post, which she shared on March 2nd, garnered more than 15 million views and was liked at least 320,000 times as of this past Wednesday. She did share some follow-up posts. So she went to the cops. They footprinted, because I guess can you not fingerprint kids? Maybe they don't have. It's always footprints.
Yeah,
right. So
because they do the whole foot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they took the footprints, they entered it into the system, and they knew which was which. One of the kids' name, what were their names? Lorenzo and Valentine.
Yeah.
So now they know the difference between Lorenzo and Valentine, and what they're going to do is they painted one of their pinkies.
Now, are they sure that they got Lorenzo and Valentine?
Well, and that's what we said when we had kids, Aaron and Julia. They could have definitely have been mixed up at some point, right? So Aaron could very well be Julia and vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, I can definitely relate this with this woman, because the first, I would say, year of Aaron and Julia's life, I couldn't tell them apart unless Aaron had two little bumps, and I think it was on her right ear. And I would just feel for the little bumps on the ear and go, okay, this one's Aaron, or this one's not Aaron. We didn't even call Julia Julia. It was just Aaron and not Aaron. So, this is like for the first, like I said, it could have been 18 months of their lives before they started getting,
I bet that it could happen every time with twins, right?
Yeah. Now what's great is the kids just are in their rooms on TikTok, so I can tell them apart, because it's just whatever room they're in.
Right. And they ended up being very different.
They're very different.
Very different.
Very different. Well, that when they're mirror identical twins. So when Julia would lose a tooth, like the fourth tooth for the right, Aaron would lose that exact same tooth, but from the left.
Really?
At the exact same time. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Wow. All right, I have a story for you, because very soon the entire world is going to be royal crazy again, because King Charles, the coronation is coming up.
Don't you kind of wish? And I don't wish death on anybody, but wouldn't it be kind of funny if he ended up dying a couple of days before coronation?
It kind of would, actually.
Really? It's like, how you feeling? I got this cold, but I think I'll be fine. And then,
I'm really not feeling the passion that previous coronations have gotten, or previous weddings, like royal weddings and stuff. It's kind of muted. On the other hand, there's memorabilia everywhere. And I found some of the funniest ones. Actually, I'm going to do this in a Minutia quiz form, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
You tell me which one of these is not a real piece of memorabilia.
Okay.
Here we go.
Time now for a Minutia Man Minutia quiz.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you 4 pieces of memorabilia. You tell me which one is not real.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
First one is the King Charles III life-size cardboard cutout.
Yeah, that's true.
$39.95.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Is that
Pounds.
Yeah, okay, pounds. Okay.
The King Charles coronation gold crown shaped confetti.
Yeah, that's
So the confetti that you throw, little pieces of paper,
right.
it's gold and shaped like a crown.
Yeah, it's probably on a 37-pound valve pistol with a die cut, foil embossed die cut. It's totally doable.
$4 or 4.5 pounds.
Okay.
4.5 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. How about this one? A 3 cheers for His Majesty recyclable tablecloth. 3 cheers for His Majesty recyclable tablecloth for 6.99 pounds.
Okay. I don't know. All right. Go. What's the fourth one?
Fourth one is a 3-meter long porch bunting that says, Camilla, we still like Diana more for 32.26 pounds.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with the fourth one.
Oh, how did you know that?
Did you know that one of my neighbors is descended from British royalty?
Really?
Yeah. She lives 2 doors down.
Oh, is that a wacky joke?
House of Tudor.
Oh, two doors down. Sorry.
Oh my God, that's like
Sorry.
That's like the best one.
That's a dad joke all the way. Time for another feature.
A random name pulled out of Rurik's bowl of brushes with celebrities. Mixture, collection, selection, assemblage, medley, assortment, variety. Time now for Celebrity Potpourri with Rick and Dave.
So this is the part of the show where we read your emails that you send us with your celebrity brushes with greatness. And this one is a little unusual. It's from Charlene. And she writes, I work in a hotel in Chicago that gets lots of celebrity guests, but you'd be surprised how few stories I have. They all know that anything they say or do can be reported to the tabloid press. So
or on some
celebrities,
stupid podcast.
yeah, are usually on their best behavior. When someone isn't, that info gets around pretty quickly within the business. There's one celebrity I heard a weird rumor about from my colleague in San Francisco. He told me that Megan Fox refuses to flush her own toilets, like even number 2.
Really?
Yes. Housekeeping told him that it wasn't just one isolated incident. Every time they went into her room to clean it, there was something dookie in there, in the toilet. She's never stayed in our hotel in Chicago, so I can't confirm whether or not it's true. But I have to admit, I think about that every time I see her now in a movie or television show. Right. And now you will too.
Right, exactly. And it may totally not be true. Doesn't really matter,
well,
does it?
Here's the thing. I looked this up.
Yeah.
I just Googled it to see if there's a million stories about this.
Really?
That, like, apparently this is a thing.
Yeah.
Which, now I'll be thinking about every time I see Megan Fox. Kind of ruins it a little bit for me, I'll be honest with you.
Right, up till this point, she was really hot. Not anymore.
All right, so I want to share something with the listeners before we go today. I found a cassette of...
And for those of you under the age of 30, cassettes are actually under the age of 40, probably, right?
Here's the sound of it.
Okay.
It's a cassette.
All right. Did you have to put the little pencil in the middle to...
I did not. It says... Tommy Kempfer on the John Landecker Show, week of 1603.
Oh, so it's only 20
years ago. 20 years ago. So Tommy, it was 7 years old at that time, and he is now 27.
Okay.
And here is every day we were in Huatulco, Mexico. Every morning, John Landecker would make Tommy tell a joke. And here is one of the jokes.
So he was exploding kids for content.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Here we go.
Well, this is the youngest member of the show, and that would be Tommy Kempfer. Hello, Tommy.
Hi.
How old are you again?
7.
And your father is the producer of this show, right?
Yeah.
What is the dirtiest number in the world?
36.
Why?
36. You get it?
36. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I found that so hilarious. I don't know why.
Wait, so you laughed at that and you didn't lives 2 doors down? Come on.
Oh, I thought that was pretty funny. So there's a bunch of those. I'm going to share them occasionally.
So not only did John exploit child labor, you're going to now exploit it 20 years later.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair.
If you got to.
We have people to thank. We have to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasana, with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, radiomisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Man.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?